are back. Thank you all so much for your patience. We have SegaSonic the Hedgehog here. That is going to be run by TempestMask1000. Just want to give everybody a heads up. We are still only $20 away from the extreme difficulty unlocked for Spin Rhythm XD. We do also have the incentive Sequence Storm, in which case we are also looking to up the difficulty there and run some difficult chart showcases. So if you want to check that out, consider donating to that as well. With that all said and done, Tempest, I will let you take the wheel and show off this really neat looking game.
Thank you very much, Milave. And yes, this is quite a game indeed. So, hello friends and fellow gamers, I am back. For those that don't know me, I am TempestMask1000. Some of you may know me as Steve, and today I'm going to be bringing my last run here on the Slurpathon schedule, which is going to be SegaSonic the Hedgehog. This is a Japanese exclusive arcade game that originally functioned on a trackball controller. And yeah, it's a bit of a unknown to many because of the fact that we never really got this in the States. This could have on the Sonic Gems collection, but unfortunately that port did get canceled. And it's a shame too, because if you look deep into the files, you will find some actual English-related stuff, such as some files for Eggman and his Dr. Robotnik look from the Sad AM cartoons and stuff like that. But either way, it's still a super cool game, and I've got quite a bit to talk about it, but it's also going to be a pretty quick run as well. So let's get down to business. Milave, before I start, we have a selection of 3 characters between Sonic, Ray, the Flying Squirrel, and Mighty the Armadillo. Which shall I run?
Squirrel.
Squirrel it is!
Yay.
Alright, time will begin once I've selected my character, and that will be in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so how this is going to work is I have a bunch of obstacles to complete within a set of 7 stages, and the game has it where there can be some really difficult stuff. But not to mention, too, this game was normally run on a trackball controller, and that's a luxury I do not have at the moment. So the best we can do is emulate via MAME, and I'm using keyboard controls for this very reason. I have attempted to run this on controller previously, and it still can work fairly well. It's just a matter of how sometimes the way you set things up doesn't always, work as intended, if you will. So with that in mind, though, we're going to get going as Ray here. This is actually where he did make his in-game debut before eventually getting a reappearance in Sonic Mania Plus. This is where Mighty the Armadillo also got introduced before then showing up in Knuckles Chaotix. Anyway, just don't mind me as I quickly try to mash out of here. There we go. Usually that obstacle does tend to get me because the game tries to keep going and stuff. So the pressure is there. There's usually something falling behind you, and if I didn't get out of that stuck thing fast enough, it would have just burned me like that. Now, I do have a health bar instead of the traditional rings system, which is perfectly fine, because rings are still within this game. In fact, they do heal you just a bit, but for the most part, I'm going to be trying to avoid them unless absolutely necessary. Because, as you're about to see, we got a results screen. And, yeah, so it tries to seek me getting it tries to check and see if I get 50% of the rings in the level, and if I do, I get a bonus. Not necessary for this category, but we do have what's called bonus percent, where your objective is to get all of them. So, I will eventually get to that in due time, but for now, that is certainly something that I'm not quite geared up for just yet. Here we are in stage 2, though. Some more mashing of the keyboard. Please get up, Ray. Please get up. There we go. This one usually does get me a bit stuck as well, but hey, actually getting that for once, thank goodness. So far, we're looking a little blessed here. And then I got pushed off the ledge, but that's okay. I got as much credits as I need to complete this game, so all is generally as it should. And yeah, here we have a bit of a little C-swing obstacle, which, we just got launched, and don't worry, the game mandates that part as well. So even if I took the left one, Yeah, no, that still would have happened and stuff. But yeah, let's just keep going. Ice physics do be ice physics here, but it's not that big a deal. As you can tell, I'm playing an isometric platformer, and things just, you know, go, go, go. That's all there is to it. That's all there really is to it. There will be some badniks in this game, but generally they are nowhere to be found. So the one thing that's going to be dangerous for anyone playing the game are the obstacles, and that's about it. Whoop! No, that just happened. And that's going to be the first death, which, that's okay. Whoop. Well, I got to be very careful, because falling does do the most damage to you, without a doubt. But that's going to be Icy Isle complete, and keep an eye out for the level names. You'll notice a running theme between all of them. As we move on next to Desert Dodge. So in this stage, we're going to have some sandstorm tornadoes trying to chase after me. And, yeah, that's how it's going to mostly play off. But we also have some quicksand pits that I want to try and not get stuck in. Even if it's just for a bit, then yeah, you know. But hey, if you all want to get your doo-doo-doos, your little doo-doo-doo emotes in chat going, I'd say this is the most appropriate time to do so. Because everybody loves a good little Darude sandstorm, if I do say so myself. Alright, here we go. Just gotta dodge these pits. Alright, here come the worm badniks. These fellas just simply pop out, and I got pushed. Now, there we go. A little more on track as it should be, as all things should be balanced. But I assure you, I am not Thanos. In fact, I am just simply Tempest Mask. Alright, moving on to the end of this stage. These are pretty short as can be. Not much else to explain at the moment, so... As we move on to Trap Tower, which I do believe is, like, I think World Record Holder Spectral's favorite stage. Yeah, maybe this would be a good time to open up to Malieve. Do you have any announcements or super cool incentives to plug, by any chance?
I do have some cool things that I'm always happy to talk and share about. I can let everybody know, I can remind everybody that Slurpathon, what we're doing right now, we're raising money for Extra Life, which raises funds for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Proceeds go to the Alberta Children's Hospital Foundation. Extra Life brings together thousands of gamers around the world to play games in support of their local Children's Miracle Network hospital. Since its inception in 2008, Extra Life has raised over $70 million for sick and injured kids. Last year, Slurpathon raised $6,681 for Extra Life. And funds raised go to the Alberta Children's Hospital as unrestricted funds. This means the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars raised make the biggest impact possible. We've still got some incentives that haven't been met yet either. We are still looking for just $20 more to get that incentive for Spirit Rhythm XD. That is our next game, so the sooner we get those $20 for that game, the better, because we are fast approaching, and if we don't get that, I mean, you're gonna still get Spin Rhythm XD. It's just not gonna be extreme difficulty.
It's the rhythm block. We love our incentives. We love getting them met. I know you all can do it. I believe.
Especially those extreme difficulties.
Heck yeah.
Speaking of, we've also got the difficult chart showcase that is looking for donations as well for Sequence Storm.
Alright. So that was Trap Tower. We're now moving into Landslide Limbo, and this is actually going to be the only time we get to encounter a boss, which can be a bit of a gatekeeper when it comes to runs. I'll talk about that in a bit, but I did want to mention with Trap Tower that in the ladder section that I did keep to the right, and for good reason. It was because if you just go straight up the right ladder and don't stop, then you will avoid the exploding mines, despite it looking like they could have easily had gotten me. So, definitely something to be wary of. Come on, Ray, please don't trip like that too many times. This is good pace. This is really good pace. All right, gotta be wary of the fake background right here, which I could have gotten my head stuck in like a cartoon character. This game's got quite a bit of ways to, quite a bit of silly obstacles, but this is where things can get really tricky. So let's see if I get something good here. Oop, okay, not necessarily, oh. Okay. Could be worse. Okay, that's another death I'm gonna have to continue as possible. I'm probably gonna have to pump in some more tokens because while this is tough, it's far from the worst thing. Come on, please go down. There we go. Woo, not too bad. So that boss, hang on, I'm gonna pump in some coins. I think that's good enough. So that boss, the weak point is the little glass thing right there, and that's especially important to, it's especially important to be wary of the flamethrowers and the electric field, because if you get caught in there, you can do extra damage, and that can drain your health like nobody's business. Coming up to Wild Waterway, this is where any time loss that can happen within my run is more than likely to happen due to a very infamous obstacle that I have a bit of a rivalry with, but believe this is a great time to talk about things, as I'm going to, in just a second...
We do actually have a donation from a small monkey. That says, "Let's go, Scootsman!" And that is a $20 donation. Thank you very much. We've also got a donation from XD, which is Spin Mania XD on extreme difficulty. I better X donate and some X dollars. Thank you very much, XD. That does mean that we have successfully reached that incentive, and we get the extreme difficulty for Spin Rhythm. Let's go.
Nicely done, everybody. So that right there is a little tradition we like to do where I just like to hold my breath for as long as I'm in the water. This is where things can really go wrong. We got the wild, rapid platforms of doom. And anything that can go wrong will more than likely result in me simply respawning and then continuing to fall. Like that. So let's see if I can at least get past. Okay, come on, come on. Okay, that's one down, one to go. And... not my best yet, but we're still looking really pretty. I purposely waited for that platform to show up because it seemed like a better thing to spawn on, but then again, I get pushed back again. Yeah, no, this is what it is. We're looking mighty pretty, if I do say so myself, and I'm not even playing as mighty right now. This game really wants me to take a swim, but nonetheless, that's Wild Waterways done, and we are now moving on to the final stage, Eggman Tower. So yeah, that little tradition there. I just like to hold my breath for as long as I'm in the water section. I love doing that, and yeah, you know, it's just a fun thing. Ever since I first saw my good pal Hypnotics show that off at Calathon, I couldn't help but think, yeah, I want to do that when I run this game, so there you go. And I do want to give a quick shout out, by the way, to S2 and Spectral, who are indeed in the chat. Spectral Platypus and S2 Live being very top tier runners of this game and have wrestled with that world record very recently too. So that's congratulations, you guys, on the efforts, and just thank you for being awesome. There we go, though. Come on, gotta get going, gotta move fast, gotta go fast. By the way, that little tank thing looks a bit familiar, right? Just like the thing that very much captured us at the beginning of the game. But yeah, so how this is going to play out is once I reach up to Eggman's chamber, he's actually going to set off a self-destruct system, and I have at least 15 or 20 seconds or something like that to get out of here. Now, time will be one of two ways. Either the bad ending, which the whole place explodes and I don't get out in time, which I hope that's not the case, or there's the good ending where I get out and we get to see the end credits, which is always nice. But either way, time will be when either of those two happen. I've still got a bit of level left, though. At the moment, I do want to give a shout out to the fact that this was the first official, like, Sonic game to feature proper voice acting, and yeah, Sonic in this game, although it was not Junichi Kanemaru, his longtime Japanese voice, it was Takeshi Kusao, who you may recall for iconic roles like Trunks from Dragon Ball, which is really cool. Shout out to him. And to Junichi Kanemaru as well. Alright, here we go. The self-destruct sequence has been activated. All personnel, evacuate immediately. Repeat. All evacuate immediately. This sequence cannot be aborted. Getting a little Resident Evil done quick vibes. Let's see how it goes. Looking good, and time. And that's a PB by nearly a minute. Let's go!
Woo! Congratulations!
That was so good. That was just fantastic marathon luck on my part, even with the Wild Waterways thing. Oh, by the way, the levels were mostly alliteration names. You'll love to see it. Oh, nicely. Nice indeed. Let's go. All right. Let's get our quick little plugs out of the way, shall we? So, big shout out to the classic Sonic the Hedgehog speedrunning community. If you want to join us, we have a Discord link which you can find in any of the associated speedrun.com pages. We love having new people around, and you can find all sorts of games from the classic era like this one on there. This is just a super fun game. I would highly recommend giving it a chance. And hey, maybe one of these days, Sega, do you think you could actually port this? I would love to see it. I'd love to see this on the major platforms so that we don't have to worry about using keyboard controls and stuff like that, you know? That'd be cool. But hey, thank you for giving us Sonic Frontiers anyway. And that said, wait for it. Ah! Sploosh! That was SegaSonic the Hedgehog. My name is TempestMask1000, and if you'd like to follow me, I'm on Twitter at this very name. But you can also, not Twitter, Twitch and YouTube. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, I am at It'sTempestSteve, where you can find my streaming updates. I do not have a static schedule, but I very much appreciate anyone that's just willing to come in and say hi. Follows are perfectly optional, but you know, I do runs like these and all sorts of stuff and things and fun times ahead. And I want to thank the wonderful people of Slurpathon for having me twice over. Always wonderful to rep. Slurpee, keep up the great work. And to friends like Dot, Phase, Spark Over, and just all them and all that good stuff, you all rock. So let's keep raising money for the kids. And until next time, I will see you all whenever. So, ciao, Michi.
That was SegaSonic the Hedgehog. Coming up next, and this is the end of my block, so I do hope you all have fun with your next host. We've got Spin Rhythm XD with Angry Scootsman, and it's going to be that extreme difficulty, so look forward to that, and we'll see you in a little bit.